One day, you and Paimon stop by the Grand Bazar. What a great intro.
Paimon's trying to remember. What else did we put on our shopping list? Oh, what a mouth-watering smell. Paimon would know the aroma of biryani anywhere. Let's go get some.
That's how you pronounce that? Oh no. I was in a restaurant in London once and I ordered that in an Indian restaurant. And no, I did not pronounce that in a way Paimon did. Oopsie. Well, but it wasn't on a list, Paimon.
We can still add it to the list.
Well, if it isn't the Traveler and Paimon.
If it
Wasn't
isn't the
expecting to see you here.
Dunyazard. Oh yeah, Dunyazard we saw like in 3.2 the last time, if I'm not wrong. That's so long ago.
Hello there. Oh, it's been quite a while.
And she's healthy. She's looking super healthy.
So you two are still hanging out together. Dehya, didn't you say last time that you were gonna head back to the desert?
I said I was going to resign from being her bodyguard, not that our friendship was over. We're still the best of friends. The Holmayanis also still post jobs from time to time. Their pay is always generous, so me and the other mercs never pass them up.
I told Dehya to just stay at our place when she took one of those jobs a few days ago. My parents were delighted. They even said that it always felt like we were missing someone whenever Dehya wasn't around.
No, the Merc is part of the family.
That sounds like something they would say, all right. They're always so welcoming. Anyway, the job is already taken care of, so I was gonna head back to the brigade as soon as I finished a little shopping. But the master kept insisting, and I ended up staying for another day.
You can stay for as many days as you want, Dehya. Father hasn't even gotten around to treating you to his best dishes yet.
You know I'm not the kind of person to stay put in one place like that, my lady. Don't worry, though. There'll always be next time.
But she said they'll treat you to the best dishes. Paimon can't believe you can still refuse that.
Yep, that's the difference between teeny tiny brain Paimon and big brain Dehya.
But wait. Didn't you say last time that you would take me on a trip to the desert? Why don't you just take me with you today, when you leave? There are so many places I still haven't visited yet.
I'm sorry, my lady, but no can do. There's still a few things I need to take care of back at the brigade. Besides, the desert hasn't exactly been the most peaceful place lately.
Has it ever?
Oh, come on. Not this again. That's also what you said last time and the time before that.
I know, I'm sorry. Just give me some more time, and I promise I'll plan the best trip ever for you.
All right, fine. To be perfectly honest, it's not that I wanted to go, it's more like I feel like something is off about you lately. Ever since you first set foot on the estate a few days ago, you've been acting anxious and even paranoid. Have you been delaying our trip because you've run into some kind of trouble?
Nah, are you kidding? You're worrying too much.
As if Dehya could run into trouble. Come on.
Would you swear on that? Friends shouldn't lie to each other, you know. I wouldn't pry any further if you're willing to swear on what you just said. But if something really is bothering you, then just tell me. You know I'll help you however I can.
Huh, okay. Maybe there's
Oh.
something.
Looks like Dunyazad was onto something.
You're too perceptive, my lady. Seems I can't hide anything from you. I just thought that nothing good could come out of telling you about the messy happenings of mercenaries. Knowing too much only leads to more trouble.
I just love that there's having this somewhat intimate talk, like right in front of the traveler. Whenever there's, like for example, Dainslev and the others with us, they always put us to the side so they can talk with us privately, but other characters always have to talk with each other in front of us. There's really no privacy in front of the traveler, which is, well, I guess that's part of the plot, but sad for them.
Mercenary life is a dog-eat-dog world where Mora reigns supreme. Everything operates on a completely different set of rules.
That doesn't change anything about what I just said, though. We're still friends, and I can only support you if I understand what's bothering you.
My lady, you're not gonna stop until you drag it out of me, are ya? All right, I'll share what I know. Let's go somewhere else first. This isn't exactly the best place for a discussion.
And they're gonna drink us with them? Really?
Okay,
What
let's
the
talk
hell?
here. Just try not to draw any extra attention.
I'd just like to imagine that Dia didn't want us to come with them and she just wanted to have like a one-on-one conversation. And we just followed them. Sounds about
As you may
right.
already know, the Eremites have both a lot of mercenaries and a complex organizational structure. Many mercs are no different than me, just going around looking for jobs to earn some mora. My brigade is called the Blazing Beasts. We're not a large group, but every member is loyal and brave. However, not all Eremite brigades are like mine. Some are willing to cross all kinds of lines for the sake of mora. The most notorious is a faction known as Deshret's Relics.
Deshret's relics? Judging from the name, they must really look up to...
Well, King Dashrat.
Yep,
That's
you got it.
great
I've
conclusion,
heard that you've
Paimon.
already crossed paths with Ain al-Akmar. They're one of the
True.
groups under the Relic's banner.
Oh, you mean the group that tried to sell us the Divine Knowledge Capsule? Yeah, they weren't friendly at all.
Well, yeah, that's bit of an understatement, Paimon.
Deshret's Relics is composed of many smaller brigades like Ain al-Akmar. The Relic's headquarters issues orders to all brigades under his control. On any other day, I would want nothing to do with them. Unfortunately, though, the brigade that's stirring up trouble now is none other than Dehya al-Akmar.
Dakan?
That name's like, what is it? I feel like that's a word that I should know.
I think it means beard or
Oh,
something.
okay, no, I don't think
Believe
so.
me, it's a really stupid name. I found it insufferable for years. Anyway, the real issue
Beard
is that Dehya
al-Akmar.
al-Akmar is led by
Weird.
my father, Kusela.
Say what now?
Wait, are we gonna meet her father?
I think I'm starting to understand your anxiety now. But what did they do?
I won't go into details, my lady, but they've been involved in a lot of violent incidents. We're talking hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yep, the scenes tend to be quite gruesome too. They strip the victims of all their valuables before murdering them.
Oh, yikes. Okay.
Not only have they targeted merchant caravans and ordinary citizens, but other mercenary brigades as well.
That's beyond terrible. They won't even spare their own kind.
I don't know how Deshret's Relic sees it. All I do know is that Dehya al-Akmar has become more and more aggressive over the last few years.
What is Genshin's age restriction? Is it PG 12? That's a bit hard for PG 12. Yeah, it is PG 12. Okay.
If I don't do something about them, then even my brigade or the people of Aru village could become their next target. I just wish I knew what's driven him to do this.
Yeah. How can your father do such terrible things?
I don't know. People change. He's always been pretty pathetic. But at least in the past, there were still a few lines that he wouldn't cross.
That's setting the bar pretty low.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was even remotely decent, then why would I have to leave the brigade and cut all ties with him? He was loud and foolish, with no real sense of purpose. Instead of doing anything useful, he spent most of his time drinking and chasing after women.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a great dad.
Of course, the other brigade members were just like him. Their ruckus would go on night after night.
Sounds like a nightmare.
What about your mother? Did she ever step in to stop them?
Probably not that she wouldn't try, it's probably that it wouldn't change anything.
Unfortunately, I never knew my mother.
I'm sorry, Dehya.
It's all right, my lady. That's pretty common in mercenary circles. Didn't I mention that my father was chasing after women? I was the result of one of those encounters with some random person.
Well, I guess that's... guess it's unlucky enough that she ended up in the brigade herself then.
He told me that he wasn't sure who my mother was. And in any case,
Wait.
she never came to see me.
Wait, how does that work? I get it when someone doesn't know who their father is. But Dia must have come somewhere, right? Did they just, like, drop that baby in front of the brigade or something? Which is cruel, but also why would they assume that it is his kid? I don't know. It's kind of strange.
He'd say, "You'll be fine as long as you remember to stick with Dad." But even then, he left most of the parenting to the brigade. The one thing I do remember is that he used to tell me stories. But the problem was that he had terrible taste. He only knew a few stories, and even those tended to be pretty stale. They were tales of desert warriors defeating dragons in the forest, or stories of mercenaries rescuing princesses from rebel armies.
Sounds like your typical fairy tales.
More or less, yeah. They were interesting maybe the first or second time around, but after about 20 repeats, they started to get a little dull.
Okay. To be honest, I am pretty sure I had some fairy tales in my childhood that I listened to at least like 15, 20 times. So I don't know. I can't really share that feeling.
He seemed to think those stories were the best things ever, though. He was so into them that he'd call the whole brigade over and make them perform the whole thing as a play.
Okay.
Even the toys he gave me would all be story props. I'd get helmets, shields, and toy swords.
Did your dad tell them to you? Yeah, my dad and my mom usually, like every second day, they switched basically. Until one point where it was like, I gotta read like the first chapter and then they read the second one for me. But yeah, you usually did that. It was great. It was great. Plenty of good memories listening to the good old German goodnight stories, which are weird in and of itself, but that's a different topic.
It was only much later when I realized that the shows were more for him than they ever were for me.
What an interesting guy.
Yeah, but it doesn't really seem like it was on bad intentions.
Yeah, I've always found him pretty childish, but that was something I could just shrug off. I had no reason to despise him.
Yeah.
Until I grew up and learned the true face of Deshret's relics for myself. Looting, blackmail, violence, and fraud. They not only accepted such heinous acts, they would even openly boast about them. No one in the brigade was any kind of hero. Instead, my father and his cronies were more like the bad guys that needed to be taken down. Did they really think that as long as they didn't do any of that stuff right in front of me, I would never know?
The question is just, why wouldn't they want you to... I mean, if they knew you wouldn't agree, then why would they care about you? That's weird.
I think I can understand your feelings. The difference between perception and reality must have hit hard.
It's all water under the bridge to me now. I had a huge argument with my father and left that place behind for good. I'm not investigating them due to any bitter feelings I still have towards my father. I just want to protect those that are close to me.
Just want to go... I want to find out why they suddenly started causing so much more trouble?
Yeah, I told the boys to gather as much information as they could. Most of the reports concern violent incidents, but there's also some talk of smuggling.
I see.
Why did she make smuggling worse than violent incidents?
Incredibly dangerous?
It is, but every mercenary lives life on the edge. It's a lifestyle that I enjoy.
That may be true, but it'll be impossible for those who care about you not to worry.
Obviously.
Well, now you get why I didn't want to share any of this with you.
What should we do? They both have valid concerns.
I mean, we can go with you to the desert and escort you, I guess.
Huh? But there's no need for you to get caught up in this mess, too.
Well, she's super tough, so if she went into the desert with you, then Paimon bets the problem will be solved in no time.
I'm inclined to agree. I'd feel a lot more at ease if you took her along to help.
I'll do my best.
I'll wait for news from you in the city until then. Please, stay safe.
I'm honored that you care so much for me, my lady. All right, then let's get moving. Our first stop will be Caravan Rebot, where we can catch up a bit with my fellow mercs.
All right, let's go. And as I don't care too much for fighting,
Hey,
it doesn't matter.
You're back. Are these two friends of yours?
Wait, are you talking to... No, you're talking to Dehya. Why are we answering for her? Anyways, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. There's no need to be so formal with us. We're a pretty casual crew. Anyway, since we've got a newcomer, let me fill you in on what the Khan al-Ahmar's been up to lately. They've become extremely aggressive. Apparently, even their own now have become acceptable targets.
Yeah,
They even
that
attack
doesn't
other
sound
relics
normal.
brigades, just the same as any other mercenary brigade.
Even the most ferocious beasts still protect their own. But it sounds like they've thrown that straight to the wind.
That's right. Once they've collected enough loot off the other mercenaries, they sell it off to a different brigade, or turn to merchants on the black market. A portion of their profits is immediately exchanged for more food and weaponry to be used in their next violent operation.
That's terrible!
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder why they're so desperate for Mora. A few days ago, Isham and I trailed them for a while, and even disguised ourselves as merchants to conduct trade with them. We were able to learn a few things from the exchange.
Okay.
Rather than saying they're out to plunder and hoard Mora, it'd probably be more accurate to say that they're experiencing an internal power struggle.
Wait, a power struggle?
So, I'm actually not sure if I remember that correctly, but to me it sounded like Dehya's dad is pretty much the leader. What I was thinking is maybe he's just not in charge anymore, so that doesn't sound too far off at this point.
You heard me right. The vast majority of their victims are mercenaries from the other brigades of Deshret's relics. If their only goal was Mora, they could have gone after anybody. The targeted nature of their attacks points to a power struggle between the different brigades within the relics. That's the only
Okay.
plausible explanation we have. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find out anything more specific. It seems they're also trying to keep things under wraps. Oh, one last thing we discovered was that over the past few years, as the Khan al-Ahmar became more and more active, Deshret's relics as a whole became a lot weaker.
That really makes it a little bit more confusing that they were able to damage so much.
It sounds mighty strange to me too. Haroon, you can leave the rest of the investigation to us. Gotta say though, I didn't expect you to go on a whole undercover mission during the few days I was gone. Sounds like you were really putting your necks on the line, no?
Isn't it usually putting your neck into it? Or, no, putting your back into it. Never mind. Okay. But yeah, Farm is probably more putting his necks on the line.
Nah, it was nothing. We're just as concerned about the situation as you are. The Khan al-Ahmar is your father's crew after all.
What he said. Besides, Dehya, haven't you done more dangerous things than all of us combined? What we did is nothing compared to your experiences.
Yeah. And while they went to talk
Rest
with
of the
Khan
crew.
al-Ahmar, I took a look at the last camp they attacked. Any survivors of the attack were already long gone. There was nothing of value left in the camp.
Ah, Hisham and Khalaf. You're here too.
We rushed over as soon as we saw you come into Caravan Rebat. Although this new friend of yours looks a little green behind the ears,
Hey,
I'm sensing a special vibe from her.
I don't know. How are they able to just... The Traveler must be so pissed at us all this time.
Now that we know you'll have a capable partner with you, we can also rest easy.
Hey, what about Paimon? Feel anything special?
Nah, just a roaring stomach down there. Nothing else coming from you?
Oh, you're also planning to tag along with them?
Of course! Paimon is the traveler's most important guide. Wherever she goes, Paimon will follow.
Yeah, that is not really what a guide does it? I feel like you should lead and we should follow, but I feel like that role kind of switched ever since we went to Nia.
Oh. In that case, then you'd better take care of her too, Dehya.
Don't underestimate Paimon!
Oh no, it's fair, it's fair.
Don't worry about her. She may look tiny and helpless, but she's been through just as many battles as the Traveler here.
On the sidelines.
Even if she had only survived on sheer luck, then that alone would still make her quite formidable.
I had no idea. I guess I shouldn't judge by appearances.
Oh, one other thing, Dehya. When you're free, why don't you update the deputy about your upcoming schedule? We held another recruitment event a few days ago, but everyone only came to see the Flame Main. You weren't around at the time, so people were pretty disappointed to only find our crew of rough, unkempt guys. The deputy put a lot of effort into the event, but it was basically for nothing. Only a few people chose to stay, and that really got to him.
Sorry to hear that. I'll be sure to bring him some great liquor next time. I left in a hurry, and I couldn't make it back in time for the event.
I'm just freeloading on us, yes, as usual. That's basically what she does. To be honest, we would just need to give Paimon like a dagger and then train her a bit. Would be so cool to see her actually fight for something, you know? Maybe just an event or something.
Gotta admit, I can understand their disappointment, though. You're our brigade's main selling point, after all. Now, if only the deputy could figure out a way to bring a few more smoking hot members into our ranks.
Keep dreaming. Remember the last time I invited a couple gals into the brigade? You all just froze up with your mouths gaping like a bunch of scarecrows.
Hmm.
The awkward
Not sure what I
silence and
want you to
weird
think about your
expressions
crew
left
now.
Quite the impression on them. They were originally interested in joining us, but after that, they both told me they were too uncomfortable to stick around.
How would that possibly be? I don't know. I can't see why they would feel like that.
Hey, didn't we agree to never bring that up again?
Huh? Wait, are you serious? Why have I never heard about this?
I don't think you were part of the brigade yet.
Are you kidding me? I missed a once-in-a-lifetime moment like that and you weren't even gonna tell me?
Dude.
All right.
And she just left in
I can
embarrassment.
tell you about it later. Now's not the time.
Nice.
Hey, don't you try to change the subject. You and Hisham get your butts over here and tell me everything right now.
Oh, he looks so distraught.
Are they always like this?
To be honest, they're probably pretty cool once you get to know them, but if that's the first impression they leave, I don't know.
More or less. There aren't many rules or graces when it comes to mercenaries. We're used to just speaking our minds. If someone starts getting under your skin, you just yell right back at them. And if that doesn't put an end to it, then you just challenge them to a fight. But we also don't tend to take many things too seriously.
Yo, what are they doing?
Being direct and getting it all out of your system as soon as things come up is better than keeping everything bottled up, never talking about it.
I swear to God. If we see them in the next scene, like laying on the ground, beating them up, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's also why I never spare their feelings when I talk to them. If I want to laugh, I'll laugh. If I'm angry, then I'll unload on them. It's hard to stop once you get used to it. Though, I can never do that when I'm with the Homiyanis.
True, I wouldn't recommend doing that either.
Hey, knuckleheads! Can you at least tell me the rest of the intel before you go back to your bickering?
Yeah, you hear her, Holof? Told you we gotta focus on the investigation first. I drew up a map. Right here is the spot. There you'll find the merchant caravan responsible for getting rid of Dakan al-Akhmar's looted goods. All you gotta do is wait and ambush them in the evening. They'll have no idea what hit them.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Be sure to pass my regards to everyone else in the brigade as well.
Will do. You stay safe, Dehya.
Oh, I love that crew. They got some charm.
This should be the place. Let's find a spot to hide and bide our time. It's gonna come down to a fight one way or
That's
another.
your hiding
So
spot?
let's all be careful.
They're like... There's like elevation. Why are we hiding down here?
No need to worry. She knows her way around a fight.
Don't you know that we need to get the high ground?
I'm not worried about that. What I meant is that we probably shouldn't go too hard on the enemy. After all, we still need to get information out of them.
She's sounding a lot like Yelan right now.
Here they come. You ready? Let's not give
guess
them a
so.
chance to react and end this quickly.
I mean, if you don't want them to have a chance to react, then we should have probably, like, planted ourselves somewhere where they wouldn't see us from a distance, but You know best, yeah. You know best.
You're the Flame Main.
Good. That saves me an introduction. All right, time for a little talk. Are you buddies with Dakana Lakmar now? Tell me, what are they after?
You know the code of being a mercenary just like everyone else. The first rule is to never divulge key information about our employer. What makes you think I'd talk?
That might have worked on an amateur, but I know you're just looking to protect your reputation. Think about it, though. What's your reputation worth if you won't have the other tools you need to succeed in this line of work? Tools like, I don't know, your limbs or eyes?
Well, at least we know where she got the brutality from now.
You've got 5 seconds. You might want to think twice about how much your employer's information is worth to you.
And why is it always limbs when it comes to Dehya? Why always sacrificing limbs?
Whoa!
Paimon, let her cook, let her cook.
I'm not joking around. We can do this the easy way or the painful way. 2 seconds.
I'll save you the trouble.
Wait,
Huh? Are you crazy? He tried to bite off his own tongue. Quick, search the area for any first aid supplies.
yo, what the fuck? Stupid guy, he
Definitely
just
didn't
bit his
expect him to go
tongue. That was
far.
certainly not an
Thankfully, the wound
accident.
wasn't
though.
too deep, and he just passed out from the pain.
Oh well, that. If you're gonna do something that stupid, at least do it properly.
But why would he be so extreme?
I just wanted to test his mettle. You can get a lot of mercenaries to talk just by threatening them.
That doesn't sound right, but
I didn't expect him to be
interesting.
willing to go through so much pain just to deny us some intel.
Well, he's out cold for now. We could wait for him to wake up, but maybe it's not a good idea to interrogate him any further. What should we do?
Weren't there like 5 of them?
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be a waste of time to interrogate him again after that. He might just hurt himself again if we start asking. There are lots of goods around here. Let's search the area. Maybe we'll be able to find something.
The Stone Age suicide method, yep. I learned about that from Death
Really
Note.
sorry.
I actually researched that after they mentioned it in the anime. I never heard about that before. Might have Captain America 1? I haven't watched the movie, so I can't comment. But it might. Or 2. Or any of the other ones. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of them. There are a lot of daily necessities like food, water in the boxes. It doesn't seem like there's anything noteworthy. Ah, that's great. There are some weapons in the boxes, as well as a bunch of medicine and bandages. Seems like Dakan al-Ahmar is really up to no good. Really? Just because they have some weapons and medicine? I mean, it seems pretty much like a necessity if you're traveling around here, but okay.
We found a piece of paper with a bunch of names on it. Maybe it's a record of something.
Let me take a look. If this really is a merchant caravan, they should have a record of their transactions.
Funnily enough, I'm mentioning the Death Note, and a few seconds later we get a letter with names on it. What a coincidence here.
Yep. I see an entry for Dakana Lakmar right here. Kusela, Idrisi, Bashar, and Takriti. All familiar names. Dakana Lakmar has been trading for a hefty supply of food, weapons, and medicine. It seems that in the past, they used to receive some canned knowledge as well. This caravan is just one link in their logistics chain. Once in the rainforest, the caravan will exchange the looted goods for Mora, and the funds will then be passed to a specific person. That person will then pack the caravan full of necessary goods, which will then be brought right back to Dakana Lakmar. Wait, why is there no Mora value recorded for the final transaction?
Probably because they don't care about paying taxes. Just a guess.
No value?
Yeah, every transaction before the last one was marked with an exact amount of
Oh,
mora.
okay, that's
But the
weird then.
final one, where they paid for everything to be brought back to the desert, was simply marked as delivered.
Maybe the amount of more is just made to cancel out?
Perhaps. But they couldn't have known how much they would make off selling the loot. Do they not care about profit margins at all? Anyway, the next part's the records of the goods themselves. There are a lot of entries. Everything was probably sourced from the rainforest. Huh?
What's wrong?
Shazamon Homayani?
Hmm?
Homoyani? You mean Dunyarzad's family?
Wait, they bought that stuff? Or sold it?
Could it just be another family with the same last name?
I'd be surprised to find someone with the exact same first and last name. Shazamon Homayani is Dunyarzad's father, and the head of the Homayani family. Just what the heck is going on here?
Well, let's maybe just calm down for now and analyze it before we escalate the situation.
I'm sorry, you're right. I'll consider what we found and not jump to conclusions just yet. But what this piece of paper confirms is that the Homayani family has been providing goods to Dakana Lakmar.
What if the Homayanis have been kept in the dark and don't know they've been trading with Dakan Akhmar?
That's a possibility, but if that was the case, why is this caravan specifically named Shazamon as their person of contact? They could have just as easily bought goods such as food and medicine directly from Caravan Rebat or Port Ormos.
If they were actually aware of that, then perhaps he's supplying the brigade operations this entire time.
Yeah, funding violence and looting. The brigade gets the goods, and he is paid the proceeds from the sale of the loot.
That doesn't sound too good.
But why would he do something like this? It's not like the Homayanis are in need of money.
Or maybe that's just the reason why they don't need money.
I honestly have no idea. I've been to their estate many times, and I've never noticed anything suspicious. The only potentially large expenditure I could think of would be the treatment costs for Dunyarzad's Elazar. Maybe they borrowed a lot of Mora in the past,
Yeah, possibly.
but that's still just a speculation. I don't think the Master would stoop so low to make Mora.
I don't think Dunyarzad knows anything about that either. She would tell.
You're probably right. I know my lady's personality, and she wouldn't deliberately keep something like this from us.
But what should we do now? All we found is just another mystery.
If we want to go to the bottom of this, we won't be able to turn back.
If you ask me, we already have no choice but to confront her about this. I'm not worried. It's too early to make a verdict yet. I still have faith in the Homayanis. Let's go find my lady again. We'll tell her everything and see if she's willing to lend us her support. If we're lucky, we can not only figure out the mystery of this paper, but also follow the trail of breadcrumbs to the people responsible at Dakana Lakmar.
Dehya, are you sure this is the best decision? What if instead of getting the help we need, we just end up revealing everything we've discovered to the enemy?
Do you think she would betray us, Paimon? Maybe she would not agree, but probably not backstab us.
I've considered that possibility. But even still, I want to tell her what we found. I think I owe her that much. True friendship is built on trust. She showed genuine concern for me when we first brought up the topic. I can't repay her kindness with doubt and suspicion. That's not how I deal with people.
You're right. Paimon wants to trust Dunyarzad too.
I hope we'll be able to be of help to her.
Yeah.
Would be great.
Let's pay another visit to Sumeru City.
Okay. Already played the story quest, it's really good. Spoiler alert. So, I mean, that was not really a spoiler, but just as a friendly tip, if you want to mark something as spoiler alert, put it in the front. But yeah, that was not really a spoiler, so it's fine. And vacation or exam still going? Exams are still going. My next exam is in 8 days. Next Tuesday. But it is computer-aided design, which is not requiring that much studying. But a lot of well, remembering things, which in return does require a bit of time. But it could be worse. Just finished it last night. A lot of people haven't done it yet. Or at least not that long ago, compared to most of the stuff I play, which is like 5 versions ago, usually. Oh yeah, jumping. I love jumping. Right. Roxy, with how many is that? I can't even. With another. Oh god, there's so many emotes. Holy shit. Hey Proxy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for gifting another 5 gifted. Dude, you need to stop it. Good luck on your exam. I hope it will go as smoothly as the last one and not as horribly as the first one. So we'll see. But even if I fail the next one, it's not that bad. The important one is the last one. Yeah, but thank you once again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wait, is she? Oh, it looked for a sec like she's wearing glasses. Is that just me? Like some nice MLG glasses, basically? Is it just me? Maybe.
We're back, my lady.
Oh, you're back a lot sooner than I expected. You mustn't have run into any trouble then. Well, how did it go? What did you come up with?
I'm not sure if trouble is the right word, but we did run into some problems.
Actually, we're still investigating. It's just that we've discovered something strange.
I see. The clues you found have led you back here, in the city?
Something like that. Yeah.
You all look a little dispirited. Whatever you found must not have been very encouraging after all.
Yeah.
Why don't you discuss it with me? Maybe I'll be able to say something to cheer you up?
It's okay, my lady. It's not so much about me being upset with my father or anything like that. How should I put this?
So something is wrong. Even the Traveler and Paimon have been uncharacteristically quiet.
How quiet does a traveler have to be in order for it to be uncharacteristic? What?
On any other day, Paimon would have already waved to me with a smile and shouted, "Dunyarzad, we're back!"
It's true, however.
So tell me, what happened?
Well?
My lady,
Someone gonna
please
say
prepare
it?
yourself for what we're going to tell you next. It concerns the Master.
The Master? You mean my father? Okay, I understand. Don't worry about me. I'll listen as attentively as I can.
Dehya managed to explain the result of the investigation.
My father has been supplying goods to Dakan al-Akmar?
Well, he might have.
Yeah,
Probably
it makes as
has.
little sense to us as it does to you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them. Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
It does feel unlikely, though.
I can't help but
Just-
agree with the Traveler.
Huh? You mean you feel the same way, Dunyarzad?
Thank you for sharing all this information with me. Since you've told me everything you know, I should also tell you about some doubts that I've been harboring for quite a
Oh.
while.
If she's also suspicious, then that's, then it's not looking too good for her father.
In the past, I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me so that I wouldn't run away and get lost. However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire Dehya?
About that. Well, the Homayanis really needed bodyguards, so they reached out to the Blazing Beasts. Later, the Master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around to become one of his bodyguards. He offered me a pile of mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. Just think about it. Why did my father specifically reach out to the Blazing Beasts?
Maybe the Corps of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe someone recommended us. I've never given it too much thought. I think I get what you're saying. You'd think none of this was a coincidence.
But how would that help? I mean, it's not like she is favoring, or has. It's not like she has favorable relations to her old crew.
Precisely.
I don't know.
At first glance, nothing seems strange or out of place. But there are many parts of the story that don't actually make any sense. If my father had always been in contact with the Khan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dehya into her house.
Why? Why? What?
You
Why?
mean the goal all along was to get Dehya to be your bodyguard?
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a long time ago. He has no control over my life anymore.
Or is the expectation that they wouldn't harm Dunyarzad if Dehya? No, I don't think that makes much sense. Yeah.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life without you knowing.
So, the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
Maybe that's what it's looking like now.
Sorry we put all this on you so suddenly, Dunyarzad.
It's okay, Paimon. I should actually be thanking you. Regardless of his reasons, if my father has truly been funding a violent group of mercenaries, then it's my duty to bring him back to reason.
But is that really the right thing to do? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. You may call me an ungrateful child, but my feelings will remain the same.
I don't think that's you being ungrateful. No.
However, the Homayani family has treated me with nothing but generosity and kindness. If we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire Homayani family. I would be biting the hand that's fed me over all these years.
Dehya.
It's all right, Dehya. If anyone were to ask, you could always just say that I'm the one who instructed you to get to the bottom of this.
Fair.
You don't have to do that, my lady. I'm not conflicted because I'm afraid of taking responsibility. Besides, you're the one we should all be worried about right now.
Hey, it's still too early to give up hope. What was that thing about friendship again?
True friendship is built on trust.
Right, yeah, trust! You said that yourself, Dehya. Besides, there's no point on getting all riled up before we've confirmed all the facts.
Yep, and your trust, well, it looks like your trust has been misplaced.
Thank you, everyone. That makes a lot of sense. I guess I should always remember the trust that I've placed in people. In which case, my lady, could you ask the Master to come out and have a chat with us?
Sure thing.
Ooh, we're gonna meet your
I
dad?
also hope he'll be able to give us a logical explanation. Let's meet at the usual place then.
Usual place?
The bench? Question mark? Is that a usual place? It is the bench. Okay, I take back everything I said.
Thank you for coming, sir.
I think... Is it possible that we saw him before?
Please allow me to introduce these two. This is the Traveler, and next to her is her travel companion, Paimon.
Ah, yes.
No,
My
no.
daughter
I think I'm
has
confusing him
mentioned them
with,
from time to time.
with the
It's
director
a
of the
privilege to
theater.
finally meet them in person. But we may skip all the pleasantries for now. What is the important matter you wish to discuss with me today?
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something on this record that we're all pretty curious about.
Dehya explains the issue to name.
So that's what you found. Huh. Seems like I can't keep everything from you much longer.
He sounds pretty chill about it.
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. What I do know, though, Dehya, is that the truth will bring you no solace. If anything, it will likely cause you a great amount of anguish.
Wait, me?
Yes, I understand perfectly why you came to see me, and I am touched by your collective commitment to do the right thing. But knowledge always comes at a price, and sometimes, as they say, ignorance is bliss.
I think it's too late for that now.
Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but I must warn you. The facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind. If you must proceed, then Kusela's heartfelt efforts will also fade into the wind like a fleeting mirage.
His heartfelt efforts? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not sure I follow. I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people and causes that I've chosen to cherish and fight for. None of these things have anything to do with him. I came here today to support you as the head of the Homiyani family. No warning will change my stance on that.
I understand. Then let me tell you a little story. Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when Dunyarzad was just a baby. Along the way, we were attacked by bandits. They had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. When all seemed lost, a group of passerby Eremites lent us their support. Those Eremites were Kusela's brigade, Dekan al-Ahmar. Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. I was shocked. Why would Dekan al-Ahmar go so far to save us and not spare the fellow Eremites?
Yeah, that seems contradicting to what we know.
Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyarzad. She was startled by his unfamiliar face and nearly started crying.
Yeah.
Really? I never knew.
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took pity on us because he had a daughter about the same age. We started talking about our children, and I sensed that he was a devoted father. To repay his kindness, I hired his brigade to help out at our estate for a time and offered everyone generous remuneration.
So, that's what happened.
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door. The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of himself. He couldn't even walk anymore without his cane.
I was about to say, he doesn't really look like he's in great shape.
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change was his cheery disposition. He said there was absolutely nothing to worry about and that he had gotten into a fight. That was all. He then suddenly asked me if Dunyarzad, now that she had grown, would need a bodyguard of her own. At the time, Dunyarzad was going through a particularly severe bout of her Elazar. There was no need for her to have a bodyguard when she could barely leave the house.
True.
But he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, it never hurts to be safe. How do you know a bodyguard won't come in handy one day?
I mean, to be honest, she did, for sure.
I was completely lost at first, until he recommended the Blazing Beasts, and in particular, a mercenary named Dehya.
Huh, so Dunyarzad was right.
So he was the one who recommended Dehya to you.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's relics as an evil group who would eventually corrupt every member in their ranks. He was already beyond redemption, but he hoped that he would be able to detach his daughter from the vicious world of mercenary life. If Dehya could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard, then gradually her affinity for the desert would decrease, and she'd be able to leave her previous life behind.
I mean, that only partially worked.
And that's why you offered her such generous compensation?
Yes, but not just because of that. From the moment that he asked me for that favor, I also began to see Dehya as my own daughter. And that's also why I tried to persuade you to stay when you asked for permission to leave. I was willing to spend however much it took. Kusela saved my daughter and I all those years ago in the desert. I could never refuse him entrusting his daughter to me.
He was always like that, acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
I I don't know, it sounds like the man Diaz talking about is just a different person than what Dunya's father is describing.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dia's
Something
fees.
changed.
I refused to take any mora from him, but he'd always sent me funds anyway. Eventually, I just accepted them as a token of his gratitude. And that went on for a while until I received another letter from him a few years ago. The letter contained a request to help him buy food, weapons, medicine, and even explosive materials.
Wait! Isn't that around the time that Dekhan al-Ahmar started becoming more aggressive?
Just speculation, but maybe it's just not his father who's requesting that and someone else?
That's right.
I don't know.
When I started to hear some nasty rumors, I became wary. I wanted to meet him face to face to discuss things. But by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. If I had to guess, it's probably because he doesn't want to put Dehya at risk.
But by the same token, he should have also stopped asking you for materials. True.
That thought occurred to me as well. I figured that he probably came to me for help because he had nobody else to turn to. After some deliberation, I decided to send him some food and medicine. I turned down all his requests for explosives and weaponry.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fair.
I am aware that even such a reduced gesture of support could lead to others coming to harm, but I could not simply reject his plea for help.
I don't think you can really guilt him in any way for sending like materials and food, right? Or medicine and food. I think that sounds fair, especially after he helped him for so long.
In the end, it probably was the wrong decision. I plugged my ears to the rumors and just chose a solution that made me feel least guilty about myself.
If you can, please tell me where he is now. None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep me from getting tangled up in his world.
Exactly.
If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world in the first place.
Oh no. Dehya, please don't feel that way.
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions.
Maybe there's another way of looking at all of this. Can you try to believe in him just one more time?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think I can do it. But I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need to figure out his exact actions and reasoning for these last few years.
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between the two of you would need to be resolved between you and him alone. I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts. Outside of supplying his brigade with some goods, I tried my best to avoid getting involved any further with him. However, there's a man on the list named Jawed. He used to be a mercenary in the desert and is now a member of the Corps of 30. He's responsible for supplying weapons and liaising with the Dekhan al-Ahmar's merchant caravan. I think he should know Kusela's whereabouts.
Okay, then we know where to go.
I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy the cool wind at night outside the tavern. Maybe you'll be able to find him there.
Understood. Thank you, sir. Then I guess this is bye for now, unless...
I'll stay and be with my father
Yes.
here. To be honest, I'm still a little dazed and haven't finished processing everything quite yet.
Yeah, to be honest, her father seems pretty much in the clear, right? So it's not like there should be any problem with that, right?
My father has indeed done something wrong, but if I think about it, I'm also not sure if there was a right way to handle this problem. I feel like our only course of action is to turn everything we know over to the Core of 30 and let them render judgment.
Yes. I am prepared to accept whatever verdict they choose.
How much wrong did you do? Not much, right? Did you do anything wrong? For me, he's pretty much guilt-free. Maybe shouldn't have sent something to them. But then again, I don't know the rules or laws for that.
It's time
I don't
to
know.
face my mistakes.
Huh? Who are you guys?
I don't know, we're just sitting here.
I know what you've been up to. Smuggling weapons to violent brigades in the desert while working for the Corps.
Shh! Keep your voice down. How do you know all that?
To be honest, I'm not sure why, but he kind of looks suspicious already.
Come with me. We should take this elsewhere. I'll be happy to talk things over once we're somewhere private.
Maybe it's his voice, I'm not sure.
This place should do. All right. Back to
Moving
my
10
question.
meters away.
How did you all know about me?
We got our sources.
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once we report you to the Corps, I assume.
Wait. There's no need to
Message
jump the
equals
gun.
this.
Let's
True.
talk this out. What are your terms?
So what's in it for you anyway, Mora?
Well, I was a little tight on money at the time, and Kusela took good care of me in the past. I weighed it in my mind, and I couldn't find a reason to turn the opportunity down. I wouldn't only be helping my benefactor, but I could also make some quick mora.
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Dakan al-Akmar, and we're gonna put an end to their operations. If you provide some help for us, then we might just put in a good word later to reduce the terms of your punishment.
I feel like whenever I hear someone tell that in a movie or in a show in general, is it actually something that works? Is that something they just say? Or is it actually true?
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little first? Listen, I made quite a bit of mora from my last run. You just give me a number, and I'm sure we can...
Shut it.
Dea's
My
not playing
patience is
games.
running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something other than money.
All right, sheesh. But you gotta promise you'll put in some nice words for me later.
I just don't know why, but for some reason whenever someone says sheesh, I just feel like it completely throws me off. Is that, to be honest, I feel like that there's just some random expression like, ugh. But people didn't say that earlier, so kind of weird. I don't
They're
know.
always on the move. Here's the spot they were at the last time I made my delivery to the desert. Feel free to go have a look. I'm just telling you though, it's not on me if they're not there anymore.
Sure. And then you can forget about any nice words from us.
Hey, come on. Now you're just being unreasonable.
Really? And how do I know you're not leading us straight into a trap? Don't forget, you're the one with no bargaining chips.
All right, I get it. Why don't you go take a look, and if they're not there anymore, I'll try to figure out something else for y'all.
Now that's more like it. Let's move. And as for you, try to stick around the city until we get back. You don't want us to call the folks from the Corps and have them drag you back to the city.
That kind of makes me think, what if he would try to escape to Lee? Could they drag him back into Sumeria? Is that legal?
Everyone pulled in.
Just my luck. How did I get caught by her of all people?
Ouch. What do you mean?
Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere.
He makes it sound like Dehya is the last person he wants to get caught by.
Seems like we're in luck. That should be their camp right up ahead. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves.
That means we're gonna beat them up.
Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
They don't seem to listen.
Dehya, why are you here? She's so strong.
Enough fighting. We all know each other, and I don't want to take things too far. Just bring Kusela to me. There's no use hiding him anymore. Did you understand a single word I just said? Or do I need to bash your skull in some more?
All right, everyone, let's all just calm down for a second. Dehya, the boss can't come out and see you anymore.
Okay, that sounds like...
He died a long time ago.
Okay, yeah, I called that.
What?
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while. Guess that's for the best, though. At least, that's what the old man wanted.
When did he die? What happened to him?
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakan al-Ahmar and went to the Deshret's Relics headquarters by himself.
So is that when you guys started acting up?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in Deshret's Relics must pay in blood for what they did.
So you're basically having a civil war inside of your faction here. Okay, so that's why you turned onto each other.
Let me start from the beginning. Dehya, do you know how the head of the relics maintained order internally?
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. But just those on their own weren't enough. They had another tool at their disposal. They called it a person's record. Regardless of whether they joined by their own will or were coerced, every person in Deshret's relics were forced to leave a record of themselves at headquarters.
Okay.
Whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit, the record served both as a symbol of loyalty and the perfect material for blackmail.
Yeah. Well... So you mean Kusela thought there was no escaping the records?
That's precisely it. Every one of us have a record. Me, Bashar, Tikriti, and all the boys who grew up with Dehya and ended up joining our ranks. But you, Dehya, you were never asked to provide a record, were you?
I never even knew this was a requirement.
You were probably the only person in all of Deshret's relics who didn't know about it.
Ever since you were born, Boss had been trying to shield you from this organization's sinister rules. Not only that, but he also banned all of us from committing any nefarious acts. He said he'd take care of the dues we had to pay regularly to headquarters. But in the end, he was just an ordinary person. What could he do? He was forced to go to headquarters again and again to account for missed dues and incomplete records. He'd come up with all kinds of excuses and get beaten up as a result.
Not so bad of a dad after all, huh?
We all knew he was doing that for you. He wanted to get you out of this world, no matter what it took.
And that's why he became a shell of himself and couldn't walk without a cane.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. I didn't know about any of this, and I'd never seen him get injured or beaten.
Because you were too young at the time. How would you ever tell between wounds from a beating and wounds from battle? When you left home after that final argument with him, he seemed to age by a decade overnight. Even his hair went gray.
So, even the blazing beasts were...
Yep. It was all his doing. Had he not arranged them to come to you, you probably would have been reduced to a pulp before you ever left the desert.
Fair. That is fair, but it's also... it kind of sucks that he's completely in control of everything. But then again, it was probably a good thing.
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make another trip to headquarters. He was already pretty weak then, and we all assumed he was going to get beaten again. I suggested that he hand the role of leadership over to me, but he said there was no longer any need, since the Khan al-Ahmar would soon be no more. His words made no sense to me, but that night, we heard that a massive fire tore through headquarters and razed everyone's records to ash.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I was thinking that he might try to remove all the records.
Everyone gained their freedom that night. Many members fled, not just from our ranks, but from the other brigades as well. But how could we leave with a clear conscience? All of us who knew exactly what had happened.
I mean, that honestly proves that they weren't as loyal as they might have thought, but, well...
The boss can't have just died for nothing. Those heartless jerks at headquarters took him from us.
From that point on, the sole purpose of Dakan al-Ahmar became revenge. The big fire that boss started was quite a blow to headquarters' strength. It's given us the opportunity to launch our attack. Even though we're outnumbered, we vowed to see our revenge through to the very end.
Yeah, but they haven't been the only victims of the revenge course of yours.
There were people from headquarters who changed their names and went into hiding. Some fled to other brigades, and others escaped to the rainforest. But we won't let any of them escape our wrath. They'll all pay for what they've done.
So maybe it's not that cruel after
We've
all.
suffered plenty of losses
I mean, it's
as
still
well.
cruel, it's just...
To keep
well,
going,
focused.
we need an enormous amount of supplies, from food and medicine to weaponry and explosives. All we can do is exchange our loot from Mora, and then use that to get supplies. We forged Boss's handwriting and sent out many letters to his former friends. Thankfully, many people were willing to come to our aid.
Yep, what I expected.
We were also able to attract many mercenaries who shared our goal. We've endured unspeakable pain to win many impossible battles. Deshret's relics have become weaker and weaker, and now we finally have an opportunity to directly strike their headquarters.
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
Well, responding to violence with more violence is usually not the preferred strategy. But do you guys really know what kind of damage you've done?
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners from the very beginning. We do not deserve the freedom that the boss won for us with his life. Boss always loved his old-fashioned hero stories. Those tales about sacrificing yourself to save the world. We used to always laugh at him for it. But in the end, he really went and lived those stories out himself. As for me, I never considered myself a hero. We're all the lowest of the low. We have no right to even imagine such an existence.
Nah.
But maybe those
Why
hero
would they?
stories he liked foreshadowed everything that was to come. The spirit of the hero touched all those he had saved, and more people joined his cause. Maybe we were all just acting along with the play in the beginning. But as we acted the parts and recited the lines, we were drawn in. And now, we want to see the story through to the end. I'm sorry, Dehya. I know you always found us insufferable ever since you were young. Just think of this as a madman ranting.
Why is this a common theme in Sumeru? It sucks. Their whole beliefs are always broken. Their entire childhood is like a false memory. Man. Breaking her. On the other hand, she's tough, so I think she will get over it, but still.
I'll go with you.
Huh? Dehya? You wanna go with them?
I expected nothing else.
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just that some situations get so bad that it's difficult to tell good from evil. All I know is that Deshret's relics must be destroyed. Furthermore, I want to go see the place for myself. I want to know if my father is still there. I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
Oh no, I promised Dunya's to support you, and I'm also on your side, so
Yeah.
I'm with ya.
Paimon feels like we'd only regret it if we don't see this through to the end.
Thank you. We'll be a lot stronger together with you.
Yep, and you got plot armor like that.
I bet Boss would lose his mind if he ever knew you'd join us at the very last moment like this.
Considering all the losses and injuries we sustained, we can't afford to turn down someone as powerful as you.
He can think whatever he wants. But the fact is, I owe him this much.
Wow. Paimon didn't expect it to look like this on the inside.
Yeah, this looks pretty much ruined.
They should all be holed up in here. Don't know how many people they've got left, though.
Who cares? We'll round up all of them.
Still, we should be careful. Even if they've only got one shot left, it could still take us out.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people? Well, I fought through many stretches like this, so should be fine.
Yeah, we'll know what they're really capable of once we've landed some hits on them. Deshret's relics may have been a force to be reckoned with before, but their name means nothing now.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance with you here. I'll take the lead. I've been here once before.
Okay. And 5 of them just vanished. Interesting. Okay, but we've got a real gang going.
This way, follow me. We're almost there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Are we getting more? Or did I miss one before?
Wait! They went charging ahead without checking for any traps!
Hey, you guys okay?
It seems like we just got trapped in here. Don't think we triggered anything else.
Watch out, the enemy's coming from ahead.
Well, now that things have come to this, seems we'll have to fight our way through.
Don't worry about us. We knew something like this could happen. Go and take a look around.
Did you
There could
really?
still be another way through.
Did you really think you knew?
Let's go! We can't let the boss down!
Let's check if there's another way! The sooner we can make it through to help them, the better!
This fella is stupid, just charging in and leaving us behind.
Let's see.
Yeah, not the best strategy.
I think I see a way through over there, but it's being blocked by something. Let's try our luck with that mech.
Okay, let's go!
That is an obviously placed chest
I
in there.
wasn't expecting anyone to make it through from the other side. But as a desert dweller, I suppose we should be used to our folks defying all expectations.
Don't waste your breath. You have nowhere to run.
It's honestly an epic shot here.
Run. Had I wanted to run, I would have fled 1,000 times already. I witnessed the golden age of Deshret's relics. Even if I could leave this place behind, all that awaits me now are endless days of humiliation and ruin. Even now, my brothers and I still believe in one thing. The greatest should never live to remember their fall.
So you want to go out in a blaze of glory.
Let us draw our weapons! We will show them the true power King Deshret bestowed upon his followers. They are but two, while we hold within ourselves the entirety of the relic's glory.
To be honest, they have no other choice.
Eliminate them!
What would they do? They can only fight for it. They have no other choice. Fine.
The commander has finally fallen.
But they're still coming at us! This place is like a gladiator's ring. They just keep coming no matter how many we beat!
Yes, keep fighting! There's no need to fear, and no need to back down! This is our last stand!
When the next wave comes, try to draw away their attacks.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can take out that high platform.
Oh, look at who's made it here.
Get out of my way!
That's awkwardly quiet.
Come and face me, Michel! Ugh, so they've broken through the front as well.
Apologies, Lord Michal. They fight like absolute madmen. No matter how much we throw at them, they just keep coming for more.
Kick him, kick him, kick him. Aw. Okay.
So, it would seem like
Maybe
this
they
is
did more
the
than I bargained for.
Time to pay for everything you've done, Michel.
You think I would give you that opportunity? I will be buried in the sand alongside all the rest of our fading glory.
Hey, wait!
Wait, what? Wait. What's he doing? Did he just kill himself?
We were too late.
It's over. There's no more need to fight. But if you're still going to cling on to your so-called mercenary's pride, then I'll give you all a good beating as well.
Yeah, oh, come on. You're cowering now. Seriously?
Hey, Dehya! I found the mechanism. I'll get you all back up here right away.
What a wimp. And what eerie silence.
Let's go.
They're really emphasizing on that whole biting your tongue off idea, huh? It's not that graphic.
Who are
after
you
all.
filthy rats? And why are you always pestering us?
You call yourself a member of the infamous Deshret's relics and you still can't even tell who's made it all the way to your headquarters?
Who knows what intent a bunch of rats may have? We try to catch a couple, and you all just show up on the other side instead. How are we supposed to figure out what you're after?
You're not supposed to.
Hey, have you ever heard of a man by the name of Kusela? Why would I know? It's not like I'm in charge or anything.
This is your last chance to talk.
Hey, I said I don't know anything. I'm just an average member here. I'm telling the truth. If you're here to find someone, why don't you look through the records yourselves? Who can remember every name and face with so many people coming in and out every day?
The irony. His life became a light for so many, yet to others, it wasn't even worth remembering. Where's the records room? Answer me!
It's right over there. All the files are in there. You can go through them as much as you want. It's not like any of them still matter anyway.
I mean the old records room.
The old records room? You mean the one that got burned down? Kusela. Ah, yeah, I remember him now. The guy who could hardly walk. Watch your mouth. That's our boss you're talking about. He was definitely faking it. We all let our guard down as soon as we saw him come hobbling in. But in the short time it supposedly took him to take a dump, he'd already gotten away and started a fire in the records room. He couldn't have possibly outrun us if he wasn't a fraud. And after that, Deshret's relics fell into complete disarray.
Stop wasting our
So
time.
sad.
Every
I'm
one of
so
us here is perfectly
terribly
aware of what
sorry
he had
for you
done.
guys. Shucks, right?
Tell me, where is the old records room?
It's just over there. Go see it for yourself if it means that much to you. There's nothing left in there but ashes. No human could ever survive that kind of inferno. Bashar, Tikriti, let's go. We'll leave the others here to guard these guys. Spare them no mercy if they try anything.
Everyone hold him?
Crazy. Every last one of them. I've already told you everything I know. Can't you just leave me alone?
Yep. He dead.
So, this was his final destination. How did he do it? Getting past all the guards with a limp and sneaking in here to start a fire? If he was nimble enough to do that, then he must have been able to get out of here after starting the fire, right?
Or maybe that's the only way he managed to.
Dehya.
I'm sorry. I know it's just wishful thinking. Let's look around. Maybe we can find something that's been left behind.
Everyone searches around the room. That's the cane, huh?
Is this a cane? It must be the one that Dehya's father used.
Kusela.
Thanks for everything, boss.
Well, that still doesn't prove much, but if he really needed that stick to walk, he surely didn't go far.
We're fortunate to somehow find that cane after that fire.
Let's split up and look around some more. What if something else has been left behind?
But what else could survive a fire like that?
Huh?
Hmm? Maybe inside something? Oh yeah, I'm so good.
Thought so.
Wait! Isn't that the toy sword you played with as a child?
The dragon
Oh.
is no more.
Oh, how
for
cute
Princess
is
Dehya
she?
has slain it. Its head now hangs above the city gates. Her bravery has brought eternal peace and prosperity to us all. Dehya, come on. This is the most important line.
You can do it.
But Dehya, you defeated the dragon. Everyone's waiting for your speech. Still too shy, huh? All right, I'll do it. I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more.
Come on, say it. Oh, that must
hereby-
hurt.
Proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more, Dad.
Oh, that stings. That stings a lot. Ah. The whole story was shared with the Core 30, which finally joined the investigation team in the name of restoring order. Members of Dashred's relics were brought to justice and something else. Aww.
What's this?
That was what was truly bittersweet. Was a good dad after all. And I think the good thing for her is she has some memories that she can at least cling on to, where it wasn't like a terrible dad. Ah well. At least she, I don't know. I'm trying to find something good here. Yeah, it's bittersweet. Well, it's all on Paimon's tab. If it's on food, it's probably Paimon.
Don't you remember? You asked Paimon what she would do if she were to wake up tomorrow with loads of money. And Paimon said that she would get boatloads of tasty snacks. You
Dehya
were super
deserves
confused
it.
at the time, but said it was an adorable thing to say. These opportunities don't come by often. So today, Paimon's gonna treat you to a special crash course on Paimon's life philosophy.
We all know Paimon doesn't have money, so, you know, it's really my treat, but you get the point.
Hey, this way you get something from the both of us for the price of one.
That's not how it works, Paimon.
Anyway, the point is that you should eat to your heart's content. You'll feel better for sure once you've gotten something in your tummy. Dunyarzad will also be here shortly. She's already heard that we're back.
Aw, thanks, you two. Honestly, this is very unlike me. I just had a lot on my mind on our way back, so
Go
I didn't know what
figure.
to say. My chest was filled with all kinds of intense emotions. They just shook me even more than all the feelings we've shared during our previous adventures.
I probably would have not been able to deliver that line. Imagine standing in front of like those people that were around your dad and then just having to do it. I don't know. I don't think I could have done that.
But when everything came to an end, those emotions also vanished without a trace, and I was left feeling more empty than ever before. It was as if I'd lost the thing that was most important to me.
Yeah, everything happened pretty fast.
Yeah, you're right. To many mercenaries, Mora is the most important thing in the world. But perhaps to us, it's the most worthless thing of all.
True. It kind of is absolutely useless after all. It's true.
Idrisi and the others all used to say that they would quit if there was no Mora to be had. But when it came to avenging my father, there was no Mora to be made anywhere.
I feel like it's more about pride and in their case, revenge and honor. Seems more like it.
My reality shattered when I found out that the father who always told me hero stories was in fact a bad guy. But look at me now. Am I any different?
Nah, you're not a bad guy. He didn't seem to be a bad guy either. Come on.
Despite all my promises about never forgiving him and never trying to understand him, I still went to such lengths to find out the truth and nearly even shed tears for his sake.
And that would be bad?
We're hypocrites. All of us.
Nah, you should never question your true feelings. It's fine. Especially there's nothing wrong with what you tried to do, and it turned out to be super important.
Yeah, you're right. It's just a pity that we often only recognize our true feelings after it's already too late.
You're back! Are all of you alright?
Yeah, well, physically.
Ah, there she is.
Yeah. Many people from the Corps of 30 came over, and I just wrapped up everything with my dad. All I can do now is wait for their verdict.
I'd assume it's rather mild.
Huh? Dehya, you're looking quite down again.
Paimon will explain. A lot happened while we were gone.
Once Paimon finished telling the story, Dunyarzad begins to cry.
I'm sorry. I really should have controlled my emotions better. I just...
It's all right, my lady. You were hurt by all of this as well. Truth be told, I'm starting to feel a little guilty watching you cry like this.
But Dehya, your pain must be even worse. You shouldn't need to comfort me.
The thing is, I'm pretty sure it hurts her even more than it hurt Dunyarzad, but Dehya just got a really hard shell. She's just not able to show it. For
Hey,
sure.
don't worry about me. If anything, this whole thing has finally shown me the difference between illusion and reality. My father probably thought that people could settle into new lives as long as they moved to a new environment. That thought has even crossed my mind a few times. It's like saying, what's wrong with adapting to a new life? However, there was always something deep within my mind that refused to accept it. This impulse brought me great turmoil, and even made me feel ashamed for turning my back on your father's kindness. But now that I consider it again, it all makes sense. The desert sands are a part of who I am, and I will never be able to lead a peaceful existence.
I understand how you feel.
That doesn't mean I won't be making any changes to my life, though. As an example, I'm now thinking about taking on some small odd jobs. It's just like Idrisi said. I also want to catch up to my father and become a character in his play. Even if the ending of the story may be childish and ridiculous, it won't really matter.
Isn't that neat, though? Oh, you'll be a whole new kind of mercenary, one that's not out for Mora.
It's the best kind.
Why don't we go for a change of scenery once we finish eating? What about stopping by the Grand Bazar again?
Right. You said you wanted to get a rug for your family.
We'll come along too.
It's always more fun when everyone's around, and we sure are not giving you two privacy. For some
I
reason.
can't thank you enough for taking care of me this entire time.
Okay, let's follow them even more.
Oh, this rug here is quite something. The craftsmanship is exquisite, and the fabric is also of high quality.
Ah, here you are. Finally, I found you.
Oh, that sounds a bit drunk.
Hey, aren't you that
Oh,
mercenary who bit his
okay.
tongue?
You're
You
not
can still
drunk.
talk? Wait, are you here to take revenge on us?
What are you talking about? Do I look like I could take you all in a fight? I just came here to give you something. I'll be on my way to give myself up to the Corps after this.
Really?
Once I woke up, I hurried to the Khan al-Ahmar's camp, hoping to alert them to your presence. But when I got there, I found no one except the members who were still too injured to move.
Ah, so you probably got there after us.
Man, this guy is slow.
Yeah, they told me that they had exacted their revenge, and everyone had turned themselves in to the authorities. Even that last camp was not going to last for much longer.
I appreciate that they took care of the detail of the tongue.
I had joined the cause to repay an old favor from Kusela. Now that everyone's already turned themselves in, I might as well do the same.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just knocked himself unconscious.
One of the
He
injured
didn't really
members
bite
gave
his
his
tongue
box
off.
to me and told me that it contained some of the old man's last possessions. Everything left in the camp will get confiscated, so I figured I should get this to you before the court could get their hands on it.
Thank you.
No worries. We are all just living our own truths. There's no need to comment or judge anyone for it.
What's the sudden change of... I'm confused. Why he did a 180? It's weird.
So this box contains everything that Dia's father left behind. Huh. It feels lighter than expected.
Well, back in the day, the first thing he did with any Mora was spend it on things like drinks and meat. But let's see what's inside. What's this? It's just a bunch of junk. Ugh, it kinda stinks.
Well, that's a pleasant surprise.
Perhaps it's just been left unopened for too long.
A handwritten copy of a storybook. The paper's already yellowed, and it looks like it's about to fall apart. It was against the Academia's rules to possess books for personal use. If he was going to break that rule, he could have at least copied something useful.
Oh, come on. It's probably the child's play that you guys were doing
That
all
probably
along.
means this was really important to him.
And here are a few bags of children's snacks. The packaging's completely deteriorated. Maybe that's where the smell was coming from.
Probably.
Did he get those for you?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Even when I was a child, I was never a fan of these kinds of snacks. He'd always say that he got them for me, but in the end, he always ate more than I ever did.
Hey, come on. That's a classic dad thing to do.
Who even leaves snacks in a box like this anyway? Isn't that just common sense? Forget it. Let me see what else is in here. A razor, some buttons, some round iron tiles, a wooden toy puppet, a wool scarf, which from the looks of it probably belonged to a woman, and a hair clip?
Wait, right next to
Why
the
are these
food.
things here?
I assume that's from your mother? Question mark?
I'm suddenly feeling a little scared.
I'm sorry, my lady, but this is just the kind of man he was. He probably saw this box as some kind of personal trash heap and dumped any and everything in there. 2 empty liquor bottles. Tell me, you guys, are these the kinds of things that a normal person would leave behind?
What an interesting man.
Huh? There's something in the bottle!
Oh, you're right. All right, I got it out. It seems to be a piece of paper with some writing on it. The bottom part's all damaged from moisture, though. Let's hope the writing didn't smudge.
Why didn't he clean out the bottle before putting it in then?
I was suddenly seized with an urge to write a letter after finishing this bottle. I just folded it up and left it in the bottle, though.
That sounds much
If
like
I end up forgetting
Venti.
about it, it won't really matter. To Dehya. It's a letter for me?
Yeah, you absolutely don't need to read it out loud.
It's all right. I'll just read it out. If he went to the trouble of writing a letter, there must have been some important things that he wanted to say. Or at least record down.
My condition's becoming worse and worse. Can't even walk without a cane anymore, much less go out and have fun. Guess I don't have many days left. If you're reading this letter, then I suppose I'm already long gone. You were adorable as a baby. Everyone loved you. And regardless of whether you were crying or laughing, everyone enjoyed having you in the group. But once you grew a bit older, you were no longer nearly as happy or cute. It's probably Idrisi's fault. He was never up to any good.
Can you believe this guy? He can point the finger at himself.
Anyway, back to the point. To summarize, I'm writing this so you would know not to feel sad for me, even if you end up finding out the truth. The reason being that I was never your father to begin with.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Surely, he must be joking, right?
Wait, but that would at least make sense. At least, well, it could make sense depending on who really is her dad, but
I don't know.
why keep up appearances for so long then? Did you abduct her? No. Why would he care so much about her then?
I was quite formidable when I was young, and 100 times cooler than some so-called flame main. Really felt like the whole world was under my feet. With just a teeny tiny bit of effort, I felt I could rule over the entire desert. But as fate would have it, I went out into the desert for a drink one day and discovered a baby in the sands. It was you.
Someone really just planted a baby somewhere. Oh, that's horrible.
You were just lying there, small and helpless. You were so tiny that if the wind blew for just a little while longer, you would have been buried forever. But your cries were so loud they made my head hurt. Now that I think of it, you really were a bundle of energy.
Sounds like he's serious.
I told Idrisi and the others that I had slipped up with a woman while out and about. None of them even doubted me.
Oh, so they don't know.
I'm sorry that I had to lie to them for so long, but I really had no other choice. I was their most esteemed leader, after all. It's not like I could just tell them that I suddenly wanted to play at being a father. At this rate, I'll puke up all the liquor I just drank from this bottle. Anyway, Dehya.
The thing is, after all, that makes some 100 times of a better dad. Because I don't know. Well, he was not even her real dad, and he cared for her so much and didn't want her to get involved in a thing he dragged her into somewhat.
You possess the kind of freedom and kindness that we could only dream of. As far as how you should live your life, that'll be up to you to decide.
That's the end of the letter. In the end, he was still thinking of me as a little child.
I think that's also a good thing.
I suppose, or I would have suffocated under the sand a long time ago.
He was a good father to you. The fact that he wasn't a blood relative doesn't change that.
Yeah. Actually, quite the contrary.
Yeah. It's just a pity that we had to learn the truth of everything like this.
Do you already have some ideas about the decision that he wanted you to make?
I do. If he first found me alone in the sands, then I want to try my hand at finding the person who abandoned me.
That's gonna be rough.
I just have one wish. To tell them a story. That there once existed a childish and foolish jerk with a heart of gold. And that only under his care was I able to grow and mature into the person I am today.
If you end up finding any leads, can you share them with us? We go on adventures all the time. Maybe we'll be able to find some information for you.
A jerk with a heart of gold, that's... Yeah, I can get behind that.
Sure, I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting you to be so enthusiastic.
I don't want you to stop going forward.
I'll help too.
Thank you. All of you. Thank you so much. My life has certainly had its twists and turns, but I've always considered myself lucky. Because no matter where I've gone, I've always been surrounded by incredible kindness.
Oh, bless her. Oh man, okay, that story was That was super, super, super bittersweet. But I think at the end you could see her shell slightly cracking. To be honest, I'm not sure if it would be good if she would ever find out who her parents were. I think she could control herself, but I don't know. You never know when things get emotional. How do you rate this quest? I'm rating it on a character quest level, okay? So I'm not rating it like, if a 10 out of 10 is not saying it's as good as a 10 out of 10 Archon quest, okay? I would say it's probably a 9-ish. The beginning could have been a bit faster, but it was also nice to just get some time with her. And I think it was partially needed to even establish like the conflict between her and her father. Yeah, I don't think I have too many gripes about it besides the pacing in the beginning.
I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more, Dad.